Yo, what's up guys, Mike, and I'm going to be talking about E3 2016 today and just some of the games that we can... Alright, and what I'm going to start off with is Rockstar because that's pretty much everyone's favorite, and what I'm expecting from Rockstar is probably going to be Red Dead Redemption 2. That's one of the best games that they've made in the past few years, I've got to say. I believe it came out in 2010, the summer of 2010. And that was one of my favorite games to play with my friends. I remember playing it well into like 2012. And it was just one of those games that's almost timeless because of how much fun we had with it, all the good expansions, and just so much can go well with that game. I think that's probably their next venture is going to be another Red Dead Redemption game. If it's not, it's probably going to be something I would probably say towards LA Noire 2, but I don't want to say that because LA Noire was a great game, but I don't think that they're going to be making a sequel. So I think there's a very low chance of that happening. So well, my guess is that it's either going to be Red Dead Redemption 2, we're not going to hear from them, my bad, or they're going to release a totally new IP in general. I don't think GTA 6 is going to be involved because I think we're still a few years out from GTA 6. That's probably their next venture is going to be another Red Dead Redemption game. If it's not, it's probably going to be something I would probably say towards LA Noire 2, but I don't want to say that because LA Noire was a great game, but I don't think that they're going to be making a sequel. So I think there's a very low chance of that happening. So well, my guess is that it's either going to be Red Dead Redemption 2, we're not going to hear from them, my bad, or they're going to release a totally new IP in general. I don't think GTA 6 is going to be involved because I think we're still a few years out from GTA 6. And my guess is they're probably not going to have their own show like, say, Ubisoft or anything like that. They're probably going to end up being thrown in with either Microsoft or Sony. They might, if it was GTA, they probably would have their own show, but seeing how it probably won't be GTA, my guess is they're going to be thrown in with, if I had to guess, it would probably be Sony because that's where they put the GTA 5 next gen trailer, so I would imagine they would probably put it on PS4 just if they were ever going to put a trailer that had some kind of gameplay like they usually do. They would probably put it on PS4 just so that they could say it's 1080p and all that good stuff. Next up we have E3, and this one's pretty obvious. I'm sure anybody that's been paying attention to anything related to video games in the past couple of months knows this. Battlefield 1. So they're probably going to be showing a Battlefield 1 trailer or gameplay footage. That's pretty much guaranteed at this point because E3 is just a place where every company goes to flex their biggest game, and I'm pretty sure Battlefield 1 is going to be released this year. I think it's actually November. So this is where they're probably going to be showing all their gameplay. This is where they're going to be flexing at Call of Duty even more. And they're probably going to be showing some huge battle, trench warfare, some kind of like Verdun kind of gameplay. Or not really Verdun. I mean, they're probably not going to be going for a slow style of gameplay like Verdun kind of offers, but they're going to be showing something similar to trench warfare, all that deal. And they're going to be flexing at pretty much Activision Call of Duty, and they're going to be trying to capture... They're going to try and capture that audience that Call of Duty has already captured and pretty much switch sides and have them all go for Battlefield, because I think Battlefield 1 is going to be like the GOAT of this year. That's going to be like the game everyone's pumped for, that you're going to see midnight launches and all that stuff, people waiting in line. That's the game this year that everyone's just going to go absolutely ape shit over. And so this is where they're going to flex, and this is where we're probably going to see pretty much the meat and potatoes of the advertising campaigns and all of that good stuff. And they're probably going to put it last after a bunch of stupid ass golf games, sports games, and the only good thing other than Battlefield 1 is NHL 17. So that's, I mean, it blows, but you're going to have to watch pretty much a 40-minute presentation because you never know. I mean, they might throw it 20 minutes into it, they might throw it a half an hour into it, they might throw it at the end of it. So you have to watch the whole thing because you never know, and they might end up just throwing it randomly in the middle in the end. But my best guess is they're probably going to be showing it at the end because last year, or when Battlefield Hardline was being released, everyone was waiting for gameplay for that, but they just throw it at the end because, fuck you, we're EA. And that's probably going to be that's my best guess as for what they're going to be doing for Battlefield 1. And without a doubt, EA's presentation with Battlefield 1, it's probably going to be the most watched. You're probably going to see the biggest volume of people watching it for the Battlefield 1 trailer, gameplay footage, whatever you want to call it. Next, we're going to be talking about Capcom. This one's going to be kept kind of short because I've already kind of made a video, an entire 12-minute video about Resident Evil 7 and Capcom and how that's what I think they're going to be releasing this year, because they are going to be doing, I do believe that they're going to have, I don't think they have their own, they have their own presentation, I do believe, and they're probably going to be showing off Street Fighter V DLC, new characters, and their new game, Umbrella Corps, which is kind of supposed to be their little, I don't know, like team-based game where you play as Umbrella and some kind of other special forces unit, and you just go at each other because for whatever reason Capcom thinks they're just going to make this beautiful game that's going to break into the competitive scene and become like the MLG next top one game that's just going to, you know, overthrow Call of Duty. I don't know why they keep thinking they're going to make these games, but I don't know, whatever. I might try it. The game didn't really look that interesting to me. It just looks kind of like, what do you call it, one of the Resident Evil 6 type games where you're just playing and shooting. I mean, they throw the original like Resident Evil 2 type zombies in the mix, so that looks kind of cool. I'll probably be checking it out. Might throw some gameplay on the channel. It looks interesting, but to me it's kind of, it seems like a gimmick that Capcom keeps trying to push, but you know, they're never gonna quite get it. And that's pretty much all about Capcom's display. I mean, they won't really be showing, I don't think they're going to be showing any new IPs, but I think Resident Evil 7 is probably going to be their biggest thing for E3 2016. And if they get this right, if they get the trailer, there's going to be such a huge hype train following it. I mean, all they got to do is release pretty much a trailer and say, yeah, it's like the old games. I mean, not necessarily tank controls or anything like that, but something that kind of goes back to a Resident Evil 2 type atmosphere with a Resident Evil 4 type controls. And I don't think they should throw co-op in, but that's just my personal opinion, but they probably will. Next up, we have Sony, which I'm sure is probably going to be filled with new IPs. That's just my personal guess, but I'm thinking this year is probably going to be a year of new IPs because they don't really have that many games lined up right now, so they're just going to probably introduce pretty much just a shit ton of new IPs that everyone's just going to crowd around. Other than that, they're probably going to be talking about Project Morpheus or PSVR, whatever you want to call it. The Last Guardian, I think they say they're going to be releasing that this year, so there's probably going to be a trailer on that. And then Horizon Zero Dawn, which looks pretty good. I personally don't have that much of an opinion on it. It doesn't look like a game that I would potentially buy, but again, it looks pretty good. I have to see more gameplay of it to make my own like opinion about it before I can say, oh yeah, this game's good, bad, whatever. But I'm not really personally hyped for it. I mean, I have a PS4, but Horizon Zero Dawn wasn't something that really clicked with me, but I will have to see. Once I see more gameplay footage, I'll be able to say for sure whether or not Horizon Zero Dawn is really for me or not. Next up, we've got Microsoft, and I'm thinking Microsoft isn't going to be doing as much new IPs as it is just kind of resurrecting old ones. So I'm going to guess that we're going to be seeing a lot of Crackdown 3, maybe Halo Wars 2, and Horizon Zero Dawn, as well as we could end up seeing some Halo 5 DLC type things, something of that nature. But I don't think there's going to be too many new IPs. I know there's Sea of Thieves is going to be one of their big ones, and for all we know, I know that From Software usually puts their games, so there might be a chance that From Software puts a new IP out on the Microsoft press conference. I mean, it might be on the Sony, might be on Microsoft, but you never know. Anything can really happen at E3. Up until we actually watch the presentation, it's really just a big guessing game. So personally, if I had to guess and just gauge it off previous years, I would say that it's probably not going to be filled with too many new IPs. I think we're just going to be seeing a lot of older IPs kind of getting kind of reboots, not reboots, but technically sequels, maybe something like that. I think there are going to be a lot of new games being announced, but personally, I don't think they're going to be anything like crazy new, but you never know. Like I said, it's a guessing game for E3. Anything could really happen, but if you have to ask me, I think that Crackdown 3, Halo Wars 2, if that's a thing yet, and Gears of War 4. That's probably going to be their biggest thing, is Gears of War. because Gears of War is Microsoft's, that's their big game. But I don't know, I'm pretty excited for Microsoft's press conference. I don't own an Xbox, but I really like the direction that they've been going ever since Phil Spencer took over as the lead lead president or whatever the hell you want to call him of Xbox. So I think this should be a really good presentation. We're probably going to be seeing a lot of really cool games. Next up, we got my personal favorite, Square Enix, and they're probably going to be talking a lot about Final Fantasy 15. I think that's probably going to be their biggest point this year is Final Fantasy 15 and the Final Fantasy 7 remake. Personally, I thought the Final Fantasy 7 remake was going to go back to the turn-based style, but I've seen gameplay of it, and it was kind of like a bit more like Final Fantasy 12, I believe, in just the sense that you're kind of walking around and you fight like in an open type battlefield rather than just turn-based combat, where like in Final Fantasy X screen cracks and then you see them go into a combat mode. I don't think they're going to be going in that direction for Final Fantasy 7 remake, but I'm still going to be playing it. I really don't care as long as it's Final Fantasy 7. I'm definitely willing to give it a shot. Cloud, one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters. If I had to say my favorite Final Fantasy character, I'd probably say Titus, but that's just because I'm a Final Fantasy X fanboy, but that's just me. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot about Kingdom Hearts 3. That's probably one of the next biggest things that they're going to be talking about. I think this might be one of their... If Final Fantasy 15 isn't the biggest thing at their conference, then it's going to be Kingdom Hearts. And I think this year we might end up seeing a solid release date, but that's just hopeful thinking, wishful thinking, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And there's probably going to be news about some kind of Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 remakes on the PS4, which would be pretty awesome because I want to play through those again. And I don't have a PS3, and I really like seeing them in the whole 1080p 60 FPS. And they looked really nice, crisp, and clear, so I would really love to play that on my PS4. I think that would be awesome. I really enjoyed the Final Fantasy X remake, and it looked clear, and pretty much all the older early 2000s Kingdom Hearts games and Square Enix games, those are some of their best years, so I would definitely say that this is something that I'm very excited for. And I'm kind of thinking that if they do the 1.5 and 2.5 remix on PS4, it's probably going to be released sometime this year because, I don't know, that just seems how they roll. It just seems like to be the way that they roll is that they'll at least put something out every year. So I think that it's probably going to be seen as, if I had to guess, it would probably be seen in sometime in December. Next up we have Valve, which I really don't expect much from them. We're probably just going to be seeing some stuff on the Steam VR, and I don't think we're really going to be seeing any games. If they decide to announce Half-Life 3, they would probably just blow every other game out of the water. But I don't see that happening as far as I can tell. It's probably just going to be something about updates on Steam, a couple more things about Steam, and Team Fortress 2 hats. But that's just my best guess. For all we know, they're going to be releasing Half-Life 3 this year, so you can never really tell. Hey, maybe even Left 4 Dead 3. That would be perfect. If they release Left 4 Dead 3, that would be, hell, my favorite thing. That would probably win E3 for me for Valve if they release Left 4 Dead 3. But honestly, I really don't see that happening. I just see Team Fortress 2 hats and and Steam updates. So I really don't expect much from Valve this year. And after Valve, we got Ubisoft, which I don't expect too much from. I think we're going to be seeing a bit more about Ghost Recon Wildlands. That game really didn't interest me. But, I mean, who knows? It could be Game of the Year. So, we never really know, but Ghost Recon games tend to never really impress as much as they used to. So, again, like I said, you don't really know. And Ghost Recon Wildlands, it looks cool, the co-op, and the kind of, like, landscape is like a cowboy, like, Red Dead kind of landscape. So, it could be a really good game. I'm not too sure. I've watched all the gameplay for it, and from what I can tell, it looks kind of mediocre. But you never know, because Homefront: The Revolution, that game looked pretty decent, but then it turns out to be shit. You never really know from trailers until you actually see people playing the game. And until we can see people legitimately playing the final product, we won't know how good it is. And after that, we've got For Honor, which was that kind of like Viking, like ninja samurai game where all the three, like I believe it was a knight, samurai, and like a Viking, and all three of those factions would just go at it in the middle of a battlefield, and then you would just kind of fight for dominance, which it looked really cool. I mean, I have a pretty good high expectation. The presentation and everything, we haven't really seen anything about it. They kind of went quiet after their first little release last year, and we haven't really seen anything about it, but I'm kind of looking forward to it. The game looks pretty cool. I don't think it's going to be anything huge. I think it's just going to be kind of like one of those smaller niche games that a lot of people are going to be hyped up for, but then it's going to have kind of a smaller community after. But like I said, you never know. It could be one of the best games we've ever played. And you never really know. But I think other than that, we're not really going to see much from Ubisoft besides like Dance Dance Revolution games and all those weird games that they make yearly. And so I don't see much coming from Ubisoft. We might see a Watch Dogs 2. That might be a hope for them, but other than that, like I said, I'm really not expecting anything from them. I think that if it's not Watch Dogs 2, there might be another Far Cry game, which would be Far Cry 5, and that could be good. I mean, it sucks because that would make Far Cry almost a yearly game at this point, and I really don't think, well, not really, because when they announce a new Far Cry game, it generally takes a couple of years to finally get out, like Far Cry 3. And if they released a Far Cry 5, I think to kind of recapture the Far Cry like type spirit, if you want to call it that, they would have to make it a jungle. I don't know. It doesn't, like, Far Cry 4 didn't feel like Far Cry because it was like in the woods, and it was just kind of weird with all like the going up in the snow and everything, and I just wasn't that big of a fan of it. But I mean, it was good. I loved playing through it. I did everything I could, captured all the fortresses, and pretty much made the map mine, and I really enjoyed it. But personally, I thought it was one of the better games of 24. I believe it was it 2014? I want to say it was 2014 it was released, but yeah, personally I thought it was decent. It didn't really feel like a Far Cry game in the sense that you were kind of going around. It felt like it was kind of just like a shooter where you were stranded. It didn't feel like, because Far Cry by definition means like you're stranded somewhere, and it didn't feel like you were really stranded in Far Cry 4. It felt like he just kind of went home and now he's trying to fight back or whatever the case is there. I think they should make another Far Cry game kind of like Far Cry 3, where you're stuck in a jungle and it's not really by the main character's choice to be stuck there. Because Far Cry 3, I thought the story for Far Cry 3, some people thought it was bland, but personally I thought it was one of the better stories out there, because I really like the idea of a friend having to save other friends from pirates and then just turning into a total badass, and I thought that was really cool. But like I said, Ubisoft, they could pretty much, it could be nothing this year, it could be huge. So we really can't gauge Ubisoft from what we've seen right now, but I will be watching pretty much the entirety of E3. So I'm really interested to see. So I'm going to let whatever happen come. And I think I don't know. I don't have high expectations, but you never know. Ubisoft could end up blowing us out of the water. Now I'm just going to kind of mention some, those were all the big ones, so there's really nothing else to discuss other than those companies. And these are just some honorable mentions as personal guesses for me, is that we're going to see something from Telltale, such as The Wolf Among Us Season 2 or The Walking Dead Season 3. Personally, I would love either one. I loved The Wolf Among Us. If you haven't played it, I would urge you to go and play that, or even just watch someone else play it. The story behind that was really good, and I liked being able to be Big B Wolf and just being able to go through the game as the big bad wolf. And there was just some moments in that game that were just like, oh hell yeah. And there was just some really great moments in that game. I would recommend anyone that wants to play something like in the weekend or has a couple days or even a day just to go play through something, I would definitely recommend it. I mean, it's only like $20-$25. You can pick it up pretty cheap nowadays. And The Walking Dead Season 3, I would be amply hyped for that because I played Walking Dead Season 1 and 2. Both of them were great. The story was flawless, and I really liked playing Clementine in Season 2 and all the multiple endings. That's the only thing I could see that they could get hard, or kind of like have a hard time doing, is mashing all the multiple endings together, like, or they would just have to either make one solid ending where something like for sure happened, or they would have to pretty much make the first episode have like a couple different starting and ending points, or not ending points, but a couple starting points, and then it would just kind of converge into one storyline. But like I said, you never know, they might just do the former. So I'm really expecting something from Telltale this year, and I'm really hoping, to be honest, because they're one of my favorite studios and they make some of my favorite games. And after that we got Blizzard, which they might be releasing some kind of Overwatch, not releasing, but mentioning some kind of Overwatch DLC. I'm really hoping for that because I'm really liking Overwatch right now, but I'm really hoping that they might talk about some kind of new maps or even new heroes, but I'm kind of hoping for maps because heroes isn't really a problem. There's a lot of heroes in the game and I'm having fun with all of them. As you'll see in the gameplay right now, I'm kind of just testing out heroes. I tested out Bastion, Reaper, and a couple other guys, Tracer, and these are characters that I mostly have never played before, so I was having a lot of fun just testing characters that I would normally never play. So I really enjoyed that, and I kind of hope for more maps because the maps are a bigger point for me, but new characters would also be pretty cool. Next up, we got a new IP from Software, or Japan Studios, I believe it's called. And they might be releasing a new IP, but I don't know because they just concluded Dark Souls such a short time ago that I don't know if they're really ready to release another IP, you know, just out of the gate. I mean, maybe Bloodborne 2, but you never know, I guess. I don't think they're going to be doing Bloodborne 2. That just doesn't seem very I don't know, not very smart. Not smart, but I just don't think that they are going to be releasing Bloodborne 2. I think their next game is probably going to be on all consoles. I don't think they're going to be doing much more exclusives, because exclusives kind of just limit people, and I know that most of the Dark Souls players, I want to say, are on PC. So I think that's kind of just going to piss everyone off. If you're just going to say, oh yep, here's Dark Souls, or here's our next game, and it's only on one console. I think the Bloodborne thing really pissed a lot of people off because not many people want to go out and have to have a PS4 just to play a From Software game, because all of them follow a similar formula. So it's going to be like, should I really spend $500 just to play this game? So I think they're going to be releasing it probably multi-console, or if not, it's probably going to be PC, PS4. But that's just my personal opinion. I think that we probably won't end up seeing a game from them, but hey, you never know. And next up, this one's kind of small, but we got Nintendo, and they're going to be showing off the new Zelda game, which I don't think is going to be that huge because so many people have known about it for so long, and after you've been showing a game at E3 for almost 2-3 years, it kind of dies down, because I mean, you can't really show much more. You're going to show more open world gameplay, but I mean, it's not going to blow up. It's not going to blow Microsoft, Square Enix, Sony, Capcom, EA, Rockstar. It's not going to blow them out of the water. It's just going to make the people that are already looking forward to it like, oh yeah, more Zelda, and they're going to be more excited for it. But it really isn't going to win E3. Other than that, we might see NX, but I'm really not expecting much from Nintendo other than Zelda and maybe a couple new IPs, maybe Smash Bros. Characters. But like I said, you never know. E3 is pretty much a mixed bag until you actually see all the presentations, so you never know what can happen. Anyway guys, that's been me discussing E3, kind of what my hopes are for E3, and just what I'm kind of like a little wish list maybe. But that's just my discussion and what we might be able to expect at E3 2016. I'm expecting kind of a lot, but not really. I think it's going to be pretty tame this year. I'm not expecting... If they do release a solid release date for Kingdom Hearts 3, that's going to be huge. That's going to blow up like Jesus Christ. I'm hoping that's how it goes. But anyway guys, that's been me, Dream Like Mike. If you liked this video, please leave a like. If you didn't like it, please leave a dislike and let me know why. Leave a comment, really appreciate it. And anyway guys, have a good one. Peace.